We're at 1216 Cortez in Burlingame. It's Friday, January 25th. We've excavated a point in the center of the back lawn, and what we found was a Y, and the branch line that came into that Y was totally tight with roots. We pulled the roots out. You can see there's about a ½ inch root right at the top of the screen, and then we push the camera up. As we push the camera a little farther in, amigo, entro poquito. It looks as if this branch line is capped at the end. We'll push in a little more. A little more. What I think we're looking at is at the end of this, you can see a black plastic plug or cap, or who knows what it really is, but the camera stops here, the pipe stops here, and there's a lot of roots growing in. So this was probably a blanked off clean out or something at one time, and the roots have started from this big ash tree that's close to the house, have started growing down the line. And then we had that very, very large root mass that we pulled out of the pipe. I'm going to show you in just a minute. Let's pull the camera out. Trust me. There you can see the root mass laying on the ground. I'll hold it up so you can see it a little better. This was growing up that branch line, blanked off line. Hopefully you can, it's about 2.5 feet long. And you can see this big root on the end here, and then all of this was just growing right up that pipe fitting and down into the working sewer lateral. So we've taken that out. We're going to leave that Y out. There's no need for it. I think it was probably an abandoned clean out where they used it to make a turn. At this point, we're going to put the camera back in the line and push it upstream toward the house till we get to the cast iron pipe. Go that way from there. Ah, very good. Doesn't look good. Okay, now we're going to push the camera upstream from the hole that we have in the center of the lawn. Take a look and see what the rest of this pipe looks like. It's just still clay pipe. Stop a minute and pull back and look at those last two joints. Look at them. Actually looks okay, no roots growing in. We'll continue. Going through a turn here, still heading up toward the house. Stop. Right here we have a branch line that we believe comes in from a line on the north side of the house that looks like it services the upstairs of the property, and then they rerouted the line down around the side of the house, up underneath the back deck, and connected to the line going out to the backyard. So we're going to continue forward. Should be coming up into the cast iron pipe here in a moment. Stop. Pull back a little. Right at this point is where it changes from clay pipe to cast iron pipe. And we're going to push a little farther in. It looks like it changes to plastic pipe here in a moment. Entro. Poquito. Definitely now this is black plastic pipe. And beyond this point, I believe it's entering up into the house. We'll go about one more foot in. Okay, now I'm sure we're up inside under the house. We're going to stop at this point and come backwards. And then we're going to go downstream with the pipe out toward the back fence and into the alley and take a look, if we can, at the main line. See. Thank you. We're going to pause right here for a moment. I just did an electronic line locate. We're back from pause now. I did an electronic line locate and found this portion of the pipe just past the lattice cover on the overhead deck. As you're facing the house from the back, this is almost directly at the corner of the lattice that covers the underneath sides of the stairs. We're going to continue pulling back, and then we're going to go downstream. Thank you. Okay, we're going to put the camera in the pipe now that continues back toward the back fence. We also have the line open at the back fence, and we pulled out another section with a lot of roots there. I'm going to clean off the lens here. We're going to pause for a moment. Before we go downstream, we're going to show you the piece of pipe we took out at the property line. It's very full of roots, and this is the downstream end of the pipe. You can see there's a huge root mass sticking out of it right there. There's a lot of sunlight there, so it's sort of glaring, but we're going to set this piece aside so we can see it anyway. And now we're going to go back to our other hole, and we're going to continue downstream here. So we get a complete video of the line all the way from the house out into the easement. And then we'll go out there and locate where the clean out is. I know there's got to be one out there somewhere. And now we're going downstream. We're going at a diagonal now across the backyard, because the line crosses the property line fence sort of in the corner of the property, in the north end corner. Let's stop right there for a moment and pull the camera back just a little bit. Right there is a bit of an offset joint. At the very top, you can see some very small hair roots growing in. And we're going into an elbow right here, so we'll continue through. Enter. making a turn here. We're going out toward the back fence. We're actually coming to the open end of the pipe. And then we're just going to feed the camera into the next piece of pipe. We'll just carry it across that little distance. We've got about 2.5 feet of pipe out. It was that very, very root-filled section I showed on the camera a moment ago. Very good. There we're coming out of the pipe. Okay, now we'll feed it in to the piece going out into the city easement. Let's stop. Pull back, poquito. Right there we have another pretty good size offset. Let's intro. Yeah, this appears to be an offset fitting, and at the top right hand corner you can see some small roots that are beginning to grow in. But nothing that appears to be really blocking the line. We'll push a little bit forward. Intro. Stop. At this point, we're looking at the Y. That elliptical line at the top of the screen goes from about the 2/3 of the way from the bottom of the screen all the way up and then arcs back down. Is actually the clay pipe clean out riser, which must come to the surface somewhere out in the back alley. I think it's been covered up. There's lots of leaves and debris back there. And this is the point where the city takes over responsibility. From this point forward, it actually belongs to the town. If the clean out in the alley is standard and exposed, we'll find it and make sure that it is. We're going to continue forward till we get to the connection on the main, just for curiosity. This is in sort of a way to document it. This is just a courtesy to the owner to show them the connection on the main line, even though this portion is maintained by the city. Still clay pipe. Should be coming up here in just a moment on our connection to the city main line. Stop. What we see here now is a connection to a much larger pipe. You can see the water flowing by at the very bottom. We'll go in just a little bit. And right there you can see the main sewer line is flowing by pretty good. Of course the camera sort of flipped on its side, but obviously the water is always going to be on the bottom. At this point we're going to pull the camera back out and then we'll call this end of video. From the clean out in the easement out into the connection on the main line, the line actually looks okay. There are no serious root intrusions, and we do know the location of the clean out that's out in the alley, but we'll have to go poke around and make sure that we expose the top of it. Pulling through the piece that was we disconnected, going back into the pipe, and now we're going to pull back to the hole that's in the lawn area. Going through a couple of turns. The offsets aren't too bad. The camera goes over pretty good now that we've got all the roots and everything out. In the severest offset section we took apart. And there we are out of the pipe. At this point we're going to call it end of video.